backs that up. The synergy is on point. I think it's a great 1-2 combo right there.
Oh, for sure. And of course, Zhang Fei, one of the main benefits is it allows your farm lane to really stay in the lane and get as much gold as you need, right? And Arlie benefits perfectly from that. Now, on the flip side, we have a Lung. Not sure what the support slash roam is going to be, but we have seen the likes of Yuhuan taking the stage by storm. What do you think about the Scars lineup so far?
I think it's a little on the squishier side. Obviously, it's kind of scary when you see a Musashi on the other end. Obviously, you have the Yuhan who can kind of, unending sorrow to get yourself out. But Musashi is just like, okay, you're going to run away, you're going to heal, you're untargetable, but I'm still going to chase you down to the end of the earth, right? So they need some way to kind of control Musashi, push him away so that the rest of your squishier glass cannons can do that damage.
Exactly, and if they get the protection that they need or the shield in the front that Scars is desperately looking for at this point, you can be sure this Princess Frost is going to deal a ton of damage. The winter is here, along with the Frigid Prison, Shattered Ice. That combination is always underestimated by opponents. And if you give Scars the lead in the early game, it's not going to look pretty at all.
Yeah, and going into this one, we saw this one yesterday, and it was a point that was brought up in the sense that, the Lady Jeanne was on the table, but they've gone with the Princess Frost, and they've decided to ban the Lady Jeanne instead. Walk me through that thought process, because I'm not a huge Princess Frost fan.
Okay, so I think we had our disagreements on this before. Like Lady Chen, I think the synergy for Lady Chen is great as on her own, right? So if you have the simple combinations, Ocean of Tears, into the Flowing Sign, you get the freeze, that's great. But sometimes, if you want to have a stationary opponent, where Yuhuan benefits, right? When she uses the Tragic Beauty, uses the Mournful Tempo, she needs opponents locked in a specific spot. And with the Destructive Deluge, sometimes it pushes people out of that range. So Princess Frost, a bit more difficult to execute, but when you land her skills properly, it does set up the perfect synergy for the rest of the team to capitalize on.
Okay, I have a feeling you just like Princess Frost because you're an Elsa fanboy.
Well, I'm not gonna have you bash my personal preferences here. But let's take a look at the mid now. It's gonna be Angela on the side of Fearless Esports Hong Kong. We've already seen how the Chaos Cinders as well as the Blazing Brilliance has done so much work for this team.
Yeah, and it's going to do even better, assuming it's able to just kind of ambush from the bushes, and then you have that the Musashi coming in just to clean them up. It's a little immobile for me. I would have preferred something a little bit more with a little bit more, mobility in that sense. But I think it rounds out the draft. Definitely on the squishier side, but you do have the Mayan and the Musashi to kind of cover your track, so to speak, and the Zhang Fei. So you do have that meat shield in front. But going into this one, who do you think has a bit of an edge?
To be honest, I think I would prefer the Fearless Esports Hong Kong lineup a little bit more stable in the sense where Woodwind takes the smite. So if he's able to kind of disrupt the jungle, you could definitely see the gold swing and EXP swing into Fearless Esports Hong Kong.
Okay. And, you play the Zhang Fei the same way with the Smite. You like to be aggressive and to kind of just invade and to potentially steal some jungle minions. But, okay, the knock-up here, they've got the secondary one, and Rilver's so low, and he's going to give up first blood already. That is a bit of an issue at this point.
Yeah, Fearless Esports, this is what we definitely expect out of them. And not only that, look at Woodwind, his invading as well, making sure that he has glimpses of what's happening in the opponent jungle so they know how to rotate into the next few minutes.
Yeah, again, just living up to their name of just being fearless, right? Dao Dao was just hiding in the bushes, not worrying so much about farm, looking for that first blood to kind of further propel him in. Now he's going to go back to his own jungle to farm up. Fearless Esports right now in a bit of a great spot, especially early.
Yeah, great, but it's not the best just yet, right? So at this point, yes, KK is doing well. He does have an EXP advantage, but Arashi might be looking to try and stifle the growth because you don't want to allow this Arlie to be too far ahead.
Yeah, you got to slow her down, right? And KK here is just a capable farmer. He's definitely able to just kind of take over these games, given the space and time. But he's going to be a little pressured. He's 1 versus 2 versus Zenz, and of course, Ochik in that bottom lane. But Fearless Esports realizing that, hey, we can allow her to get her own space, KK that is. So no real issues.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't really matter that much. One of the main important items I'm going to be looking out for is actually Dao Dao, right? Once he gets that boots of resistance, he's going to be able to hold his own against Arashi, at least in the 1v1 for the time being.
Yeah, and look at that. It looks like Rover's been killed yet again. You know, it just kind of springboards itself, right? It's one of those things where you've gotten that first blood. Now Rover is even further behind. This is a tough situation in that top lane. Xinglin is level 5. Rover is only level 3. Oof.
Yeah, that's a big difference there. And I mean, that's the benefit of picking a Ma Yin, right? A lot of people underestimate her range, her reach that she has, and especially when you have the advantage in the clash lane, River is not going to have a good day at all. Now it's up to Scars. Can they find some gaps to maybe slow down the farm coming in from Fearless Esports?
So if you're from the Scars side and you see Rover just kind of struggling at this point, do you just give up the lane and be like, okay, you just find out whatever farm you can do, defend that tower as much as possible, but you know, we're not going to help you at all. Is that the gameplay for you?
I definitely would do so. I think at this point, right, it's really hard to try and come back into this game because bear in mind, you're not just losing EXP, you're losing gold as well, which means itemization-wise, it takes a lot of effort to get that balance out. I would rather go and invade onto KK's lane, give him a hard life.
Yeah, okay. And the Leaping Savior is going to be used right there. The time-lapse just kind of zoning everybody away. Nobody really wants anything. Now, with Rover struggling, who on Scars has to really step up and just carry this game?
I think at this point, it has to be Arashi, right? Arashi will be the main win condition coming out from Scars because he's the one that's going to be able to tank and deal the damage.
Okay, and KK going in, he's going to lift step back. He did get the pick off on Zhens, who just got a little bit out of position. But Xinglin, gets over the wall. He's going to be fine. He's styling as he cartwheels over the wall.
Yep, so interestingly, he does not go for resistance. He actually goes for the boots of agility. So he wants to get additional cooldown to make full use of his whatever combinations.
Yeah, and it looks like KK just being super aggressive. 1 versus 3 essentially in that bottom lane. And KK is still finding farm second highest, only to his teammate Xinglin. 2.8, he's doing quite well already. But it looks like they're going to start the... Oh, sorry, go on.
No. So they won't be able to do anything much here, right? And I think at least for the next 3 to 4 minutes, Scars has to play from behind.
Okay. All right. If they're playing from behind, though, how do they catch up? What do they need to do?
I think at this point, it's just to slow down the farm, right? And if they can, they have to protect every single jungle camp from the side of Fearless Esports.
Okay. I think that's easier said than done, but it is definitely a goal that they need to aspire to get to. And it looks like they're going to try to defend this tower. That T1 getting chipped. It's about half-life already, but that time-lapse zones them away. They don't want any of that action.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to be doing, right? That's the benefit of having the Sun Bin as well. So Ochik, he's going to do really well for himself because they are a very disruptive draft.
Yeah, and Xinglin just running away. Rover doing a little bit of damage, gets that the electrifying charge onto him. Did a little bit of damage there, but Dao Dao does need to be careful here. They do have the Blazing Brilliance in the mid lane with all 5 members of Scars, but the winner is here, and it's zoning most of them away. Nobody wants this fight.
I'm not sure if you see this, Holler, but I can potentially see a big team fight win for the side of Scars if they can continue this.
Yeah, if they could. And I mean, they tried to go for the pick off, but Xinglin just too mobile. Like, he's able to just get out. Not as easy. So that control that you're looking for from Scars is, again, somewhat difficult. And I see that it could be a huge issue for Scars to kind of line that one up perfectly.
Yep, but what happens when they do? I think a lot of people, like I said, don't really put a lot of respect into the damage that this particular draft can be able to deal out. Bear in mind that if they fail to focus onto Zhen's, it's going to punish them really hard.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like Scars right now are trying to take the fight to them by pushing this mid lane, just forcing it out, getting Arashi level 10 already, doing a great job, actually out-leveling Dao Dao. So if anything, he's been getting a lot of that farm. They're trying to funnel him as much as possible. He's 4.3k highest on the team.
Yeah, at this point, I think pretty safe to say Scars definitely has learned from their lessons in the earlier parts of the competitions, and this could be something that they could benefit off of.
Yeah, Scar's doing a good job there, making sure that they secure their own jungle camps. They get that Azure Golem here, and it looks like they're going to go in for this one, the flash away, and it looks like Fable will be fine, but again, the flash was expended.
Yeah, take a look at the AoE of that, right? The time-lapse as well as the winter is here, exactly the same. It's extremely huge. So potentially you could catch off quite the few members on the side of Fearless Esports.
Yeah, quite large indeed, and definitely something they need to worry about. But starting those fights, again, you have that catch, and then you have those zones. Then I get it. So it really comes down to River just setting those initiations up, right? But he's kind of behind. He's not the tankiest of heroes at the moment, so he might struggle here.
Yep, but we'll see. Eternity Blade on to Jones. Hang on.
Oh, the Blazing Brilliance, the Unbridled Outburst, that's going to be the first one used thus far. The Infinite Fastness, they get on out of there, and it looks like they don't want any of this action as Dao is trying to draw a bead. Nice two-man launch up the Unending Sorrow. They're turning this around. Dao, he tries to flash away, or tries to dash away. He does go down, and Arashi gets the kill, but they did trade River.
Yeah, but I think this is a huge win for the side of Scars. KK, if he gets caught out, it's even worse for the side of Fearless Esports.
Yeah, KK now on the run. Oh, this is a tough... Okay, he's going to get away. He just kind of parasails his way out, throws out those Hello Kitties, and he's just looking like he's going to survive. But in that mid lane, pushing a bit.
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty worried for Scars here. If they ever go to the beach, whenever they see the parasol, I think they might get quite angry.
Yeah. They do need to be a little scared. Arashi does need to be careful. Unending Sorrows back to safety. He's just kind of scouting them out, testing the water, so to speak. But KK back to full, and it looks like Fearless Esports are continuing to push. It's still 8 minutes, and it's only 4-1.
Yep, in the next 30 seconds, it's the perfect time for them to take a fight, right? Not all the ultimates are up on the side of Scars. This would be essentially the best time to pick a fight.
Yeah, potentially yes, but of course, if we're looking at it, they haven't really been able to find that initiation. It looks like they want more of securing their own jungle. The Tyrant is going to be started by Scars. They're looking to just take that one out. Arashi does commit the smite. The Unbridled Outburst pushing them back. The Unending Sorrow keeping him alive. Rilver's on the wrong side of this one. He dashes over the wall. He flashes, excuse me. And it looks like there's going to be a fight on that side. It looks like he's so low, and it looks like Jing Lin will actually go down. He was fighting 4 versus 1, or 1 versus 4, excuse me, not able to get the kill.
Yeah, overcommitment there. I think that was a huge miscomm. And this might cause the lead they have established all game to essentially be gone. Goldie has been cut down to about 2,000, which is not that big of a difference nonetheless, right? It's been 3K throughout the entire game so far.
Yeah, but you don't want to give the enemy team any sort of options to get back in. Scars had a good fight, taking that one, but the Duel of the Death goes in, and he goes in, and he takes out Ochik. That's going to be your roamer, and they want more. They get Rilver, and they're going to take a double kill. KK taking them on. Arashi now on the wrong side of this, does get the kill onto Fable, but the Unending Sorrow, he gets under the tower. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's not a good fight for the side of Scars though. So you can see Fearless Esports, they're going to try and approach this even more aggressively, because at this point, it's really important to get the map in their control.
Yeah, they want to, yeah, definitely. Map control is super important. KK stepping up in front, trying to get the pickup on the Jens, who gets a little bit low, pushes them back with Ride the Wind, and it looks like they're going to just defend this tower. Again, both teams prioritizing that mid T1, trying to keep that alive just because it's objectively just so important to them.
Yeah, it opens up the whole map, right? It gives you a lot more vision. It makes the map a little bit darker for the side of Scars as well. But I think at this point, Scars holding off pretty well.
Yeah, holding off pretty well. They've done a pretty decent job with the objectives as well, like in terms of the Tyrants. But this one's a little bit risky. Fearless Esports right now just scouting around, providing a lot of vision. They know what's going to happen. Scars has been sticking together, all 5 of them. Again, just like there's like a campfire in that river.
Yeah, this is where they're the strongest, right? When they're all grouped up together, because now it forces Fearless Esports to have to group up as well, and that's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. The Unbridled
nice
Outburst
one.
pushing them away. Not the greatest of angles, but it looks like they thought about going in. The Chaos Cinder is going to be used, but they just get on out of there. Arashi, a couple shots just to kind of kite them. KK, Liz steps back to safety.
Yeah, first phase of the fight, it looks like it is Fearless Esports who suffer more damage, and Scars, they want to force the issue here.
They want to force it, but look at Dao. He's waiting in the wings. He wants to go for this one. He does, and he finds, it looks like Ochik, but he doesn't get the kill. They back away. He had the time flux, and he zips on out of there.
Yeah, very clean understanding from Fearless Esports, right? They knew that this was not the fight to take. They just wanted to push them away. They will happily trade out the Tyrant. They will go for the Overlord instead.
Yeah, and okay. I mean, if you think that that's a fair trade, I preferably like the Tyrants. But, the Overlord, they'll take whatever they can get at this point. But it looks like Scars makes a beeline for it. It doesn't really matter. Dao has already smited the Overlord.
Yeah, let's talk about the growth, right? I think at this point, Dao Dao is pretty scary because he already has the Dragon's Rage, and paired it up with the Dark Knight Breastplate, it's going to transition him into a fairly tanky hero, but also able to deal a lot of damage because he does have the Blazing Cape. He's going to keep consistently burning them and giving them the anti-regen as well.
Yeah, anti-regen is actually going to be quite huge here because, again, Yorashi just gets on out of there, has a lot of heals, a lot of sustain. You want to limit that as much as possible. Make her, play like a normal hero, right? Where you just don't have all of that sustain, but it looks like they're going to be pushing the mid T1. They didn't get that one last shot. Arashi comes back to clean it up, walks into the Chaos Cinder just for good measure.
Yep, they do get the mid T1, but at this point, because they lost the Overlord, it's not going to look good at all. Scars, they will have to move back.
Yeah, they have to move back at this point. They're going to look to just defend, deal with these Vanguards that are pushing on all fronts right now. Arashi all the way up in front, finds Woodwind, but again, they're trying to keep this T1 alive. The Vanguard is pushing in here, but I don't think that an actual fight will happen. Yeah, Arashi is just going to zone them away, if anything. Okay, they want to go. Dao Dao up in front. Finds Arashi. Dao Dao taking a lot of damage. He's going to be forced. He wants to turn this around. Duel to the death. He's the first to fall. Arashi gets credit for this one. They do have the launch up, the Unending Sorrow, keeping Arashi alive yet again. ASD's continuing to fight. And it looks like they've gotten a second kill of Qinglin as well. And it looks like Scars finding gaps, winning out these team fights.
This is a very different Scars, man. I love this growth from the team, simply because look at the way they played. They just sent one member to defend the waves, and now they have this huge advantage in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, and we're talking about how Rover had to set everything up, and they were just like, no, man, you just deal with the lanes. We'll deal with the team fight. We'll fight 4 versus 5. We're able to do this. But again, I think Dao Dao was out of position. He was kind of being chased. He was taking unnecessary damage without actually fighting back, and the rest of the team really wasn't on the same page on that one.
Which is why I feel that Scars has definitely improved, because it was a forced error, right? Technically, Dao Dao, that was one of the safer options to take. Let me go back and farm my jungle camps and whatnot. But Scars recognized this. They said that, hey, you know what? Fearless Esports, they know the waves are crashing in, so they are going to be a bit more defensive. Let's chase them out of the safety zone instead.
Yeah, pushing them away, that's kind of what you want to do in terms of the zoning out. And again, Dao Dao, he's got 8,000 gold at this point, not the highest. KK is still on top. Basically, the fights come down to where KK is. If he's able to blow people up, because he has all the farm, all that you need. But if he dies, Fearless Esports might be in a bad spot.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where I feel, Scars, I think they have drafted based on the late game plays, because late game, this is a very tough composition to break into.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to see how that one plays out. I mean, Scars right now being the aggressor, I feel like they've pushed Fearless Esports into more of a defensive posture, kind of pushing them back a little bit. Like Fearless Esports right now, just waiting in the wings, maybe attempting to get it.
Nope, not going to happen. But, this game, pretty close. 6-5 in terms of kill scores. And Scars, they didn't have the best game, but everything is even at this point.
Everything is even. It's so close. And again, this Tyrant's going to be important. The Umbrella Upper is going to be committed. Oh, the Tyrant actually he gets reset. He goes back into his cave. And it looks like they want to go for this one. They've got him frozen with the Frigid Prison. But Woodwind somehow gets killed. Arashi gets another kill, and he pushes him back. And now Dao Dao is trying to turn it up. He does end up killing ASD, but he falls in return, as well as Qinglin. Both of them, all of them are dead. It's a 3-for-1 trade, all at the cost of ASD.
Yeah, but they have to defend this. If they don't, then it's not the best play, because they do lose that tier 3 on the top. And this would be the safety marker. This is the opening, the crack in the armor that Fearless Esports will definitely continuously chase down.
Okay, KK was pushing that top lane, ended up getting the top T3. Not the worst thing in the world, especially when 3 members of your team died. But when Dao Dao realizes that KK is actually nowhere near you pushing, there's no reason to be going in, right? You should not be taking that fight. You should pretend, maybe bait things out, make sure that nobody recalls back to defend the tower. But at the end of the day, they're not on the same page, and you're kind of seeing the effects of this.
Yeah, you know what? We are also not on the same page. I actually love that play. I think no pain, no gain, right?
Yeah, and this is where I report you in game.
All right, I'm okay with that. But at this point, now you start to see the benefits of that play, right? Because once
Yeah.
it resets, now they're gonna have Mega Minions marching down on the top lane, and it only requires 2 lanes to be managed instead.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, I get the play. All I'm saying is that 3 other members of FE probably should have survived. KK going down, that's a massive one. And it looks like they're going to get even another one. And they do get a double kill. Rilver is back.
Yep. So at this point, it's really the push and pull play, right? Seesaw, because now it really is who has the better wave management. At this point, I'll be honest, if Scars gets what they want a perfect team fight. They just want to keep fighting because this is the power spike. The stuns are too much for the side of FE.
Oh, and they found Woodwind in a bad spot. Leaping Savior is just trying to get to safety. He's eating a lot of Flaming Palms. He's taking a ton of damage. He's going to take a time bomb back to the base, but they've lost that bottom T2, and Scars right now in full control. They've got the map. It's just a matter of pushing at this point, but Fearless Esports, this is a bit of an upset, no?
Yeah, I would feel so too, right? With the performance they've put up, I think they were the team that we were looking forward to having a very strong performance. But Scars, they are putting up an even, or maybe even better performance than what I expected them to have. And this is wonderful to watch.
Yeah. And you talked about the growth mindset earlier. They've definitely have the growth mindset because they're playing much better than they did in the open qualifiers. This is something like, the team is really starting to step up. They're starting to gel. Arashi's just been this beast as he's getting gone on and dodges that Blazing Brilliance.
Yep, and now you start to see, right? The little things matter. Every time the Blazing Brilliance does not hit the mark, Fable essentially turns useless for a couple of seconds. And Scars, they are playing perfectly off of that.
Perfectly placed, and like they're kiting them out, understanding the limits of where they need to be. The minions are pushing. Yes, the super minion is in the top lane. The Blazing Brilliance is going to be committed, but Dao wants to go all the infinite fastness, and they zip on out of there. He gets into the Uber, and he's on out.
Yep, so how do you actually catch Scars? They have so many disengage abilities, right? The time lapse, the time flux, increased movement speed, the silence. It's really hard to catch them. And when you can't force out the infinite fastness from Zhen's, hang on.
The duel to death. It looks like they found somebody. No, it looks like he's going to get over the wall. He's going to be fine. Rilver does survive.
Yeah, so look at that. So many escape possibilities for the side of Scars.
So many staying alive, and that's the Scars MO. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Arashi 603, my MVP thus far, but he's kind of stepping in, and it looks like he's going to dodge most of this, just take it out. Time fluxes away. And again, you talked about the ability to escape. They're like Houdinis. Everybody has an option.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like about the itemization coming out from Scars, Rilver building the Demon's Bane. One of the rarest items I've seen in this game, at least in professional gameplay, right? Most of the time we go for Succubus Cloak, or maybe the Long Night Guardian as well. So Rilver, very aggressive. He wants payback.
Definitely wants payback. He wants to be up front. I mean, he didn't have the greatest laning phase, but he's back, right? He's getting kills, and that's kind of what you want. The Byron just being able to scale here. Rilver's done a great job of just getting back in the game, ensuring that, the team has a chance. Dao now on the run, not able to happily farm. The time lapse is a little bit off the mark, but it's going to disengage people more than anything else. Araji's about half-life.
Yep, and right off the bat, right, we're going to start the day off with a Tempest game. This is going to be a Tempest spawning at the 20-minute mark. Now, we have seen this situation so many times before, right? What decision do the teams make? Do we go for the split push? Do we actually go for the Tempest?
Well, it looks like they're kind of grouping around it. I don't think they're going to fully commit for this yet. Rover's making his way there, but they want to push out the lanes first before they do it. The top is pushing. So Fearless Esports do need to deal with that. But with, again, they've taken the top T3, Fearless Esports, that is. Oh, but it looks like they're going to go Orb Strikey. They found it, and it's going to be Sage's Sanctuary. The Unbridled Outburst pushing him back, but KK in a bad spot. He's going to be destroyed. Infinite Fastness aggressively used, but Rilver's been killed in return, and it looks like they want to go. Dao, he's going to be going in. Sage's Sanctuary used in return. Chaos Cinder is going to be there, and it looks like Zhen's is going to be killed, and it looks like Dao is starting to do the damage, but he's just so low. He's continuing to go, and he's got his own Sage's Sanctuary. They've turned this around. Arashi now on the run. He's going to be killed. Sage's Sanctuary for him as well. Ochik now on the run. Dao, he's like, you cannot run from me. Oh, yes, he can.
Yep, he will, and Arashi, 2v1 at this point, will be taken out, singling with the final blow to kill the game off for Scars at this point. Now, Dao has been extremely scary this entire game, super tanky as well, and once again, it all comes down to very minute nuances throughout the game, right? that one lane of Mega Minion is what influenced this decision, because Scars could not play the waiting game. They had to make something happen.
Yeah, they tried to force it out there, but getting caught out now with 4 members killed on that one. Scars, that was a tough team fight. But it looks like they still have the net worth lead. Yes, it is kind of negligible at this state, but again, this is the huge one. The Tempest Dragon here, Ochik still up, sticking around. He's going to get gone on, and they've gotten this one. They look to go right away, and they do get this. The Sage's Sanctuary, that's going to be killed, and it looks like Rilver just instantly deleted. He is off the map.
Yeah, this will be the longest 40 seconds that Scars has experienced today, because Rilver is going to be out for the next 40 seconds or so. And now it's going to be Fearless Esports Hong Kong. They're going to start to breathe down on these lanes because they have the Tempest buff.
The Tempest buff, and that's the massive one. It's 22 plus minutes at this point, and they're looking to push this. They're looking to end the game. They were able to get back in, and Dao goes in the heart of the enemy team. He's going to go for the backside, and the infinite fastness keeping Shen's alive. He's going to just fly back into the fountain and just park his car right there because there's not much else he can do. He's going to look to heal, and it looks like Fearless Esports, they're going to look to go for this one. Woodwind also all the way up in front. Dao is looking to go up as well. He's just forcing the issue, just pushing them back more than anything else, but they've gotten the mid T3. All T3s are down. The base is wide open. Woodwind is sticking around, and the Flaming Paws pushing them back. The Vanguards is continuing on all fronts. Dao still up in front. He wants to go. The base is starting to get whittled down. They do force it down, and Fearless Esports will take game 1.
Congratulations, they are one step closer. This is Dao, and finally just couldn't continue to hold on to the lead, right? And they lost it right at the end.
Yeah, and we're going to see those highlights here if we're going to see exactly what happened, where things went wrong for Scars. I mean, again, they were they were losing in the first phase. Fearless Esports really stuck it to them, but then they were able to come back. They found those gaps. They got a couple good pickoffs. They made Dao's life a little bit more, tougher, so to speak. They got this big team fight here. They took a lot of the tyrants. They were taking most of it. Like, look, Dao's pushing, but look at where KK is going. KK is making a beeline for that top position. Again, you were talking about the ramifications of that in the late game where Scars had a timer because they didn't have that top T3.
Yep, exactly. And if you notice the way that they fight, KK is always having two very distinct decisions, right? Do I want to get identified, right? Do I want to get seen? And if I don't want to get seen, he's going to start the split push. But when he commits to the fight, it's moments like this where, you know what, they know that, hey, the firepower from Scars is lacking. It's time for me to try and get into the fight itself.
Yeah, and if we're looking at this big fight here, this is the game-winning team fight for